it's been a while. Man, has a lot of stuff been happening. Good call. Well, it's fucking cold. It's 33 right now, but I promise you, I ain't never felt this kind of cold at 33 degrees before. It is cold. So now I'm nervous because my bunk heater hasn't been working the last week and a half, which is a old Chinese bunk heater. It's literally made from China, sent from China. It takes in fuel from the fuel tank, and then it uses that fuel to burn up and keep the truck warm. And it worked really good the first day or two, and then I didn't need to use it. Then I've been trying to use it every day for the last couple days, and it'll start the process of trying to warm up. You can hear it priming and stuff, and then it'll throw an error 08, which an error 08, according to the manual, which I have, and also online, states that the pilot light's out, or there's air bubbles in the line, or there's a bunch of something else going on. So I always think that maybe the line's so thin and pulling in such little fuel that it causes the lines to freeze when it's cold. But every single morning when I wake up, I'm freezing my ass off. I have to summon every amount of energy and willpower to get myself out of bed to start the truck, and then I gotta wait for the truck to warm up, so I'll lay in bed under the blankets from whatever little warmth I had left in there. But today has been an incredibly rough day. I know people have been commenting lately that my channel used to be fun, and this ain't a TV show. I'm not here for sitcom entertainment. This is my life. This is what's going on with me. This is what I'm dealing with. This is how I deal with things. I'm just explaining the situations that I'm in, and if you can't tell just by the tone of my voice, it doesn't make me happy. So yeah, so let's start off with, I finally got chains for the truck. Later on, I'd say a day or two later after I got those chains, I had to go into Olympic Valley, California, which had just suffered a snowstorm right before I got there. I hung out near Reno while the storm passed, and then I went up to a resort, ski resort, to drop off ski lift parts, which was pretty much one of the best loads I'd ever done. I got paid $2,800 to drive about, I think I weighed more than the equipment weighed on the back of the trailer, so climbing these mountains and getting up and down these hills was no problem. It was I think I best miles per gallon I've ever had in this truck, and usually I try to drive around 68 miles an hour to conserve on fuel, and even though I'm not paying for it, I still try to drive about 68 miles an hour unless I'm trying to pass somebody and I want to get around them quickly so that I'm not hogging up the left-hand lane. It's just a considerate thing to do, I feel like. So I got up to Olympic Valley. Well, I ended up having to chain the last stretch because I was heading up the mountain and it's still snowing up there. So I threw the newly bought chains onto the tires of my truck, and I started to make the drive up the mountain. I got there a little bit late, but they were happy to see me. I delivered the stuff, and then I had to wait for them to load some more stuff. And at that point in time, so I was going out there to check my chains and everything, so I still had them on. I knew I was going to need them on to get back down the hill. I noticed that some of the chains had been crushed and ripped off already. Links of them have been crushed and ripped off. Found a piece of it underneath my trailer where I tie my dunnage down. It was just a piece of link of it was just sitting on top of that. So regardless, yeah, a piece of the slack from the chain was actually sticking in one of my passenger side tires. Both of my passenger side tires needed to be replaced after that trip. So that was fun. I got nowhere near as far as I needed to that day. I had to wait to get my tires replaced at a TA. I ended up staying the night there. So that got done. I got the load back into Grand Junction to drop that load off, and then I headed to my next one. Pretty much that's the extent of that riffraff. But really, it's today. Today is a bad day, very bad day. I started my day off by having some issues in the bathroom issues, and I haven't really eaten the last 2 days, just because there's a bunch of shit that I'm not going to get into in my personal life going on, where I just have not been hungry, or I haven't felt hungry, and when I think about eating, it makes me sick to my stomach, so I just don't eat. I drink a lot of water, so I heard you can go 7 days without eating food before you really start, like at the extreme, you really start getting, hurting yourself. So I started today by having restroom issues. I didn't know what was going on. I ended up having to stop at a rest area, and tarp was acting up and stuff. So needless to say, I walked back to my truck with no socks on. If you catch my drift. So that happened, and then I'm driving and whatever, and then all of a sudden my truck gives me a check engine fault sign, and I'm like, so I asked Marcelo, one of the guys that works in the office, I asked him if he could check engine fault codes, because I have one. I have an engine fault code, and at this point, like, my truck's driving, but it's not really accelerating. I can't, it's basically, I found out later because my dispatcher sent me a picture of the fault code on my truck and was like, hey man, you can ask me anytime you need codes. If you see codes on your truck, you can ask me, I can send them to you. I was like, okay, cool, great. Never had this many fucking problems with trucks before, right? So I haven't had to find out who's the checker of these things. So get the screenshot, and it's saying it's a fuel pressure problem. There's a fuel pressure problem. And you pop the hood and you look at the fuel filter, and the fucking thing's almost full, and it's not supposed to be that full. And then I only know this because I talked to the mechanic that worked on it. So I had to limp about 6 miles up the road to a mechanic shop in near Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And these guys I got like the hills have eyes type of vibes from these guys. Like bad. I didn't feel welcome. These guys mumbled under their breath when they talked. Nobody was really engaging or trying to talk to me or anything. They talked to my boss on the phone. My boss was the one that helped me to find out, that they knew I was coming, and they got me in. They replaced the fuel and water separator in the fuel filter housing, and I told my boss that's what they did. He's like, yeah, you should be good. Like, every truck seems to be having that kind of issue right now, even new ones. So yeah, I think you should be all right with that. Well, not before that happened. I had talked to the guy that I'm supposed to about this issue, and he fucking blew up at me, like telling me that I'm complicated, I'm hard, basically that I'm hard to work with, because anytime I call him, it's with a problem. I'm like, isn't that your job though? Like, you're the guy that I'm supposed to talk to if there's something wrong with the truck, or if I need to get parts or something for the truck, I need to contact you for them. So you're like my only main contact when it comes to that. So who the hell else am I supposed to call? But he fucking starts going off on me. I'm already having a bad day. I didn't start off that well, and so I started going off on him, and he ends up fucking hanging up on me. And now I've never felt more stranded in my fucking life. I'm in the middle of Iowa. I don't know if I could drive this truck. I don't want it to be a $20,000 repair if I do try to drive the truck. And not before hanging up on me. He asked me to drive 30 miles an hour basically on Highway 80 to see if the truck would go any further, instead of doing the right thing, and that was possibly getting a tow or trying to work calmly over something that we could do, come up with a plan to try to get the truck looked at, because this small problem, if you don't take care of it, which I'm going to get into in a minute, which now has become a big problem. The nice topping to my shit salad for the day, quite literally. If you don't take care of a small problem, it becomes a big problem, right? So I got hung up on the main boss of the company, the main guy, the guy that owns the company calls me, and he fucking did everything. He talked to a shop by where I was at. He told him I was on my way. He was like, do you think you can drive it up there? I was like, yeah, I mean, it's only 6 miles, I could drive. But you know, while I was driving the truck, I was just steadily losing speed, and I couldn't get back up to speed once I lost it. So I was afraid to take my foot off the pedal. But I limped over there. I got there. It was still giving those problems, obviously. And I find out when I get there that the fuel filter's full. It must be clogged. Something's up with that. So, dude, it took him like 5, 10, 15 minutes. He was in there. He drained out the excess fuel. He pulled the filter out and did what he had to do with the fuel and water separator. I pulled the truck out, and then I got stuck. A heavy hauler was trying to back into their parking lot so he can get a tire replaced, and he got stuck. So everybody is around where my truck's at, because I had to park on the side of the street. I dropped my trailer on the side of the street. This wasn't like a big shop. You know, it's a normal shop. There's fucking 18-wheeler bobtails everywhere. There's just shit everywhere. So it's even hard to navigate through that bitch if you had a bicycle, you know. So now, granted, I just left this place. I had to drive through their very littered ass parking lot, and I'm not sure what the fuck was going on, but I get pulled up to a weigh station right after I leave there, and they pull me in. Now, I just got a level 3 inspection, and I passed it. That maybe last week sometime. So I get pulled in, and the cop comes out. You know, I've got my e-logs. I'm on duty. I got my bill lading. I got my truck cab card. I've got everything I need. Got my driver's license and my wallet, and everything's ready to go. Well, the cop meets me outside. All right. The cop meets me outside, and I'm getting warm now finally. And he's like, "Hey man, you got a flat." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you got a flat. It looks like the inside tire on your passenger side, rear drive axle." So I get out and I go look at it, and I'm looking, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking flat." So he pulls out his this. No, it's not this. It's the tire gauge. I know I got it, and I want to prove that I have it, so I'm gonna grab it. I just got so many fucking tools in the door right here because I'm constantly fixing shit. I'm trying to. One of these bad boys. He used this on there, and that's where it was when he put it on the thing. So I got put out of service until I got it fixed. So luckily though, when I walked back to my truck, Loves was already fixing a tire right in front of me, and I'm like, "Hey, how much would it cost for y'all to just air this tire up for me? I want to see if it's leaking air." Because obviously it's got 0 fucking PSI. Either it's got a super fast leak or something. Or I don't know, but I mean, I do pre-trips every morning. I don't remember it being that empty, so something had to have happened at the shop, you know. And it's like I just fucking left there. I would imagine that they would have noticed it, but really they were just kind of focusing on the front end of the truck. They just wanted to get me in and fucking out, you know. They're trying to get paid. So they tell me that they're not even going to put in a breakdown request, and they'll just pull the truck up and put some air in the tire. And I told them I'm driving up to you. I was actually going to head to y'all to get some fuel, and it was about a 24-mile drive to get there. So they aired it up. I listened and listened. I didn't hear any hissing. I didn't see anything moving, no bubbles or nothing, because you know the ground still has snow on it. I'm in Iowa, so I'm checking the tire. Nothing wrong. I'm gonna drive for a couple miles, and I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna check again. No air leaking anywhere. It's fine. I got to the Loves. I checked it again, and it's fine. I'm like, what the fuck? What happened? Did somebody let the fucking air out while I wasn't in there? Because like I got stepped out of the shop to smoke, you know, like. Are they just fucking trying to get me to come back? You know, I don't know. I don't trust these fucking places. They were already giving me shady vibes to begin with, so I get pulled into there. That was another thing. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? Is there a sign? Is there something? Is somebody trying to tell me something? Do I need to get out of doing trucking? Like, is that what? Are they testing me? Like, I feel like I'm being tested for months. Like, when does it end? When is it gonna end? I get here now, right? I get here at the place I stopped at in Iowa, and I noticed right before I got to this stop that my tarp was flapping way too much for it to be tied down properly. And this just all of a sudden started happening. I'm constantly checking my mirrors to look at the tarp because my load shifted a little bit to the passenger side of my truck. So that, like, all of the weight from the way that they stack those things is literally pushing all the weight on to the right hand side of my truck. So I'm only 2 hours away from this place. I've been driving careful. Well, I go back there and the tarp is absolutely fucking shredded in the back. The wind was so hellacious out here in Iowa. When I hit those flatlands, man, the wind was blowing so hard I couldn't hear. I had to have my radio almost turned all the way up to hear it. That's how loud it is, for one, in this truck. The wind blowing and stuff. And two, how hard it was blowing just all together. So that was a great ending to my day. That's what I've had a pretty rough day today. I am very tired, and I gotta try to get this load into its destination tomorrow before 10 a.m., which should not be a problem because I'm only 2 hours away and I'm shutting down at about 4:30. I shut down at about 4:30 today, so that means I can leave at like 2 and get there at 4. So it means I'll be able to actually sleep in a little bit. I am very tired. I haven't really eaten, so I need to try to eat something, even if I have to like force myself. And yeah, so I know I haven't been uploading lately. There's been a lot of shit going on, personal life stuff, and I just haven't been motivated to make videos. But I figured I'd at least shoot y'all an update. It's gonna be a longer one. I might not even include my intro. It wouldn't make sense for me to tear up the centerpiece of this video right there in the very beginning just to add an intro when I could just upload it as it is. I don't have to fuck with it. Remember, just ladies, love it, hate it, fucking ready to take care. I'll see you on another time.